Hey, how's everybody doing? Had some people ask me about the effigy of Sir William Baguleys, so a lot of them questioning about the egg in his hand, and so I thought I'd explain. Over the years when I researched, I came across, especially through the 12th century, 13th century, you started seeing the egg being used by the church for as a Christian representation. So the egg was a symbol of the resurrection, and even though it was originally, like many say, well, it's a pagan symbolism, it was, and the church took a lot of pagan symbolism to try to reuse it. And during this period, they were using the egg as a symbol of the resurrection, and it's kind of why you see it still being used today as the Easter egg. And a lot of it had to do too because the fast, they would fast from everything, and usually the first thing they would eat would be an egg too, after the fast. So, but the egg was a representation of the shell god. The yellow yolk was the sun, and the white part was the spirit. And when the hatchling would come out, or the chick, it was a representation of the resurrection, of Jesus coming out of the grave. And it also embodied the three in one, because now you had, from that egg to the chick, the total symbol of the resurrection of Christ. And with Sir William, it appears he may have been with the Order of St. John, the Knights of St. John, or Knights Hospitaller, and they were using that symbol a little bit, the egg. And so when he died, he was a priest, and it is kind of confusing because he's dressed in armor, but seemed to be like a warrior priest. And there's quite a few Bagleys like that. James Baggelegh was one too, and he died at the Battle of with Hotspurs, losing Battle of Shrewsbury. So he was a priest too. He was a rector of Stockport, but he met his end at the Battle of Shrewsbury. His brother Robert, along with him, they bore the White Hart with Richard II, and he ended his days as he was a kind of like a personal priest to the Booth family, and so they were kind of quasi-warrior priests. But yeah, he was a priest. So when he died, and especially associated maybe the Order of St. John, the egg was in his hand. So it was a symbol, the resurrection. And why it was in his hand is because the resurrection is at hand. Because even then they thought, at any point, Jesus could come back, and, the dead will be resurrected, But that was, a lot of my research. And over the years, I've had a lot of research. Some of it escaped me. I've shared it with people, and people would steal it and act like it was their research. But I always would leave a marker to prove it was mine. Like, I shared a lot of info. If a guy, I won't mention his name because he has passed away now in England, and he kind of claimed a lot of my research as his own, which I didn't care. But I mark it. I do always do a little thing that's not accurate to the research to prove it's mine. And with one I sent was like a descendancy of Sir William Baguleys through the Hyde family down to Queen Anne Hyde, who, is married to King James, brother, Charles II, I believe. This is all out of my mind, but Charles II. And he was married twice. But I sent a picture of Bonnie Prince Charlie with that research, and the person used that as part of the research, but Bonnie Prince Charlie was not of that line. It was his mother wasn't Anne Hyde. It was another lady. So that's a Bosky, I think, or I can't even pronounce it. But at any rate, I had a lot of people hit me up wanting to know about the symbolism of the egg, because they almost thought like Sir William would have been a pagan. No, he was not a pagan. He was a Christian. He was a priest. He was the rector of St. Michael's, and St. Michael's in Macclesfield, and they were kind of an extensive family because you kind of see them bouncing around between Northerton, Baguley, Stockport, Knutsford, and Macclesfield. But in property in Levenshulme, which they owned Hume Hall for a while with the Buckleys as co-heirs, because they both married the daughters of Roger Cheadle and had Cheadle Hume Hall, there. So they were kind of like all over the place. But at any rate, I had so many people hit me up wanting to know about the egg and Sir William's hand, and that's what it is. There was nothing done in the Middle Ages that was not a symbol to something. And like I said, the egg being in his hands and prayer symbolized, his resurrection would be at hand, And no, he wasn't a pagan, he was a priest. But yes, the egg was a very ancient pagan symbol. But that's it. Thank you.